It's June 21st, 1983. I'm with Mr. Andy Gibb. It is a long time coming because I waited to do this when you were here doing Pirates last summer. You did a small press conference, and I said, no, if I can't sit down and talk with him by myself, I don't want to do it. Yeah. And I'm finally getting the opportunity. It's a pleasure to meet Andy Gibb. You were extremely talented actor, singer, and I think it's a pleasure to meet you. Finally, I'm so glad.
Am I all those things?
Yes, you are all those things.
Thank you.
You're in Toronto, you're taping a television show.
Mm-hmm.
But that sort of, when I read your bio, when I do research on Andy Gibb, I'm like, this guy has to be 45 years old. Gold record, Broadway, television, this, and that.
Yeah.
How do you find the energy and the confidence to handle all these different things?
Well, a while back, I made a decision in my mind that before I die in this world, I want to have gone out trying everything you can possibly try in show business, all different kinds of things. Why be limited to just making records? Why be limited to just being a television star? I thought, well, I want to put my finger in all different pies, try Broadway, theater, and it's fun for me. I mean, there are times when I feel 45 years old, but it's fun for me just to try all those different things, and it's a great experience. I don't really find it any great strain.
Because you're so young, and I say we're both young, and I know people don't take, it's difficult to take me seriously, you have to pay your dues, you have to be in the business a lot longer. When you're going to host a television show, when you're going to star in a Broadway musical, do you have to prove yourself, or is it your talent? I
think every artist, no matter how big he is, every time he's out on a stage or in front of a camera, you're always proving yourself again. You always have to prove yourself up to that point. It's like making a big #1 album. I mean, the follow-up to it has to prove that you can follow up and keep going. You're always proving yourself all the time.
You have lived in so many places, is it Ibiza? How do you say it?
Ibiza, well, a lot of English or Americans, Canadians or whatever, they say Ibiza, but the Spanish pronounce Z as TH, so it's Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Yeah.
It sounds like a wonderful place.
That's where my growing up was done. That's where I started performing for the first time. That's where all my real childhood memories are, so to speak.
Was it hard to find friends and go to school when you had to move so much? I mean, you moved in Australia, Spain, and back to England, back and forth. Did you ever get off the plane, Andy?
Well, what consequently happened is that I ended up making very few friends my own age. Always older people, because I was always with my brothers, always in television studios, around adults. And I left school very young, because I had no time for kids my own age, until now. Now at my age, I get on with people my age. But at 13, 14, or even younger, I just had no time. I was above everybody my own age. Or I thought I was.
You had the companionship of your family.
Yeah.
Did you miss your childhood? Did you realize at that time that there was something else?
Well, no. At that time, I may not have realized it, but now looking back, I realized I know what other kind of life I could have had, or what other kind of upbringing I could have had. And I don't think I regret it. I don't think I would do it the other way. I like the way I was brought up. And I had a lot of interesting times back then, a lot of good fun.
Did you always have singing around the house?
Oh, yeah.
Was there always someone singing?
Usually my brothers, of course. As far back as I can remember, my brothers were professional performers. So there was always music in the house.
Who was the first person who said, come on, Andy, sing? Was it expected? Did all the Gibbs?
Excuse me.
Did all the Gibbs have to sing? I mean, was the talent is there?
No, it wasn't a must. Until I was about 12, I had no intentions of being a singer. I thought I would try motocross, all different things I wanted to do. I had no love for music. I mean, I still traveled with my brothers a lot on tour, but I had no real plans of me being a performer. Then I moved to Ibiza, and that's when I saw this little piano bar where I started to work. And it just came along naturally to me. Until one day when I moved to Australia, my brother Barry said, come out to America, I want to make a record with you. So it wasn't expected. I wasn't sent to Australia or to Ibiza to be told, perform and get your background and get your experience here. It just happened that way. But I was never pressured by the family at all.
What kind of music did you play as a British Isle man or in the little clubs in Ibiza? Do you remember what kind of stuff you did?
Yeah. At that time, because it was very much required of you, it was top 40 stuff, top 40, the hits of the time. And of course, sprinkled with a lot of Bee Gee hits. in the middle. That was kind of expected of me too, to sing a few of their hits.
That's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, actually, it was the easiest thing in the world for me because we had the similar sound. As far as singing it, it was a great pleasure and easy to do. But after a while, I realized that I am not the Bee Gees. I don't want to spend my whole life singing Bee Gee hits. And of course, now I don't.
Who is influential as far as music? And I think besides the brothers, I suppose are okay.
Gee, there was no actual... If there's any one person I could name, it would be Don McLean.
You remind me, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Very
Well, I grew up on listening to all his albums. I mean, I know every song he's ever written, just about. And I used to play them just around the clock, flip one side over and keep playing them. I knew every word, and his words are very meaningful, very philosophical, and it's, I don't know, it was a very important part of my life when I discovered him. And recently, when I was hosting Solid Gold, he was a guest on the show. And he went up to him in his dressing room. I'd never met him before that. And I said, "Oh, Mr. McLean." And he said, "Andy Gibb," he said, "I want to thank you for all the good press you've given me through the years."
Are you taken aback by that?
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, he treated me like, not a fan, but I mean, as much his respect for me as I had for him. And when I thought back, when I was doing nothing, and he had like American Pie out and Vincent, and I was completely an unknown, I think back to then, this man now is almost a friend of mine. That is kind of that takes you back a bit.
That must make you feel good, because when there's hard times, and there's hard times for all of us, you can think about those nice little moments and think,
Sure.
yeah, I'm going to stick with it, I'm not going to give up, and I admire you for that. I mean, you know, it's hard, this business is a killer. The ups are the best, and the downs are the worst.
Well, the past few months, I've probably gone through my all-time down, my all-time low as far, not the past few months, I should say, the past 6-7 months, or 6 months ago. I've been coming out of it since then. But I mean, I was in terrible depression. My career was at an all-time low. You know, there was no records, which will be coming up soon. Again, it was just getting my life back together again, getting the energy to get out and work again, because life goes on.
Well, I mean, I was born the same day as you. And
you were March 5th?
Yeah.
My goodness, what a coincidence.
So I'm reading, because I knew that you were March, and I'm going like, isn't that interesting? And it's you know, it's hard. My sister's a nurse and my brother's a doctor. She wants show business, and it's like, you know, you sure there's not something else you want to do, Marcy? No, this is what I want to do. But then when I'm going home and complaining, well, you can always get out of it. You could be a secretary.
Yes.
Would you want to get out of it? Could you ever shut the door completely?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't do anything else. I have no education as such. I mean, I've never passed an exam or have any kind of degree because, I mean, I left school at 13. I didn't care about school. No, I couldn't do anything else, and I don't really think I want to do anything else anymore.
Princess Diana said that to Roger Moore at a dinner, that his son was being tutored by the same person that taught her, and she said, "Oh, what are you wasting your time? I never passed an exam in my life. Look where I am." And I'm going, oh, it's so beautiful.
What a shame she got married too soon. What a beautiful woman.
If you only knew, Di. Can we talk about Andy Gibb music before we get into Broadway? I want to talk about it. Okay, the teen idol, the girls screaming and yelling, and the music. What kind of songs does Andy Gibb sing? Like, let's talk about I Just Want to Be Your Everything, Shadow Dancing.
Oh, gee, going back to those, I mean, they had no actual meaning for me. I didn't write those songs, but they have a good memory for me. I don't get the screams now like I used to get them. I think it was just a fad at the time, a thing that was happening, a teeny bopper idol thing. But I describe myself best, performing-wise, as very much a romantic. And if I can win my audience through that and love songs, that's probably what I like to do best.
Was recording easy for you, going into the studio and recording? Do you remember recording words and music?
Sure.
Tell me about it.
Well, the very first time I was in the studio was, of course, with my brother Barry. He produced and wrote I Just Want to Be Your Everything. And also my first few albums. I like the studio very much and I miss it. It was very easy for me because I had the finest producer to take care of me, to make sure everything went very smoothly. So it was a very rewarding experience. And I enjoyed working with him.
Did you think the songs that were hits would be hits? Do you have a feeling about that?
We had it after like the third or fourth, we had an idea of what possibly could be a hit, because I already had a following built by then, so we kind of could kind of predict. But the very first record, before anybody had ever heard of me, it was between that and the second song I released called Love is Thicker Than Water. So we didn't know which one we were going to release first. I Just Want to Be Your Everything, or Thicker Than Water. It almost came out to be Thicker Than Water. And I just had a hunch that if it wasn't going to be a hit for the first single. And thank God it wasn't. But it was number one for the second single.